Former Superintendent of Police and Disaster Coordinator at the National Disaster Management Agency, Sylvan McIntyre, continues to highlight a number of issues when it comes to handling emergencies. In relation to an incident at the St. George's bus terminus last week, where one woman collapsed and died, he believes that much more is desired from society when responding to emergencies.
I am not fully aware of all of the circumstances relating to that incident, but from the limited information that I got, there is a lot we can desire more of our society. And the bus terminus itself has its own community, the commute, the people that move from time to time from one place to the other, and incidences will happen. It is saying to us a couple things, that the bus terminus itself, as well as any other place where people are moving in numbers, there are certain emergency preparedness that should be in place. In the first instance, there should be an emergency response plan. So if we have a small scale emergency or a larger one, how every person or every entity, every customer and every agent or any person who is using the bus terminus, what is their role and how they should respond to an incident.
Mr. McIntyre suggests the need for a community of people to be trained to respond to emergencies. He suggested that government considered this.
But again, I remember one of our programs, one of the health persons came in and spoke about the number of trained persons across society. I think there were 80 plus persons who were trained in mass casualty and emergency care and treatment just recently. And so that is also pointing to whether or not we should change the status quo in terms of how we train and who we train and where they are placed, and whether or not we should be focusing a lot on the mass events or whether we should be putting a lot of effort into the family and the individual's affairs across country. And it is something worth thinking about. It is again something that the new administration should think about. And
here's a basic tip to consider when responding to an emergency.
One of the things that always happen when somebody collapses, people would converge, which is in itself a disadvantage to what may have happened. In the first instance, you pollute the environment because a person may have a respiratory problem, and once you're having respiratory difficulty, what you want to have is a free breathing space. So once people converge in numbers, you're going to limit that.
For those who criticize the response of police officers to the bus terminus incident, Mr. McIntyre says that this should be an opportunity to look at a training regime for officers to determine if the training provided by the Royal Grenada Police Force is adequate to equip the lawmen and women with the confidence needed to deal with emergencies. Mr. McIntyre was speaking during this morning's To The Point program, which will be a weekly feature, a collaboration between Mr. McIntyre himself and the Grenada Broadcasting Network in an attempt to build a program geared towards disaster preparedness. Christine John, GBN News.